That's okay. That's that guy.
We got a little not 19,000. So, morning, everybody. You get a chance to look at it? Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. And I was just mentioning, anytime the Tomassoni family is in the house, it seems like good things are happening. And that speaks volumes to this family. It speaks volumes to the legacy of Senator Tomassoni. And a huge thank you to the range delegation and to all of the folks who are here. A tradition of finding common ground, of finding things to celebrate. And the folks you see here are carrying that on. I think it's somewhat obvious to all of us, and I think even in the most challenging times, the absence of David Tomassoni is felt even keener. That sense of just calmness, of decency, of hard work, and an advocacy for his constituents on the range that is fierce, and you find it in the folks who are here today. So I think it's entirely fitting that we're going to sign a piece of legislation to designate a strip of very important highway on 169, very important to the state of Minnesota, but very important to David Tomassoni. And to be able to name the Cross Range Expressway in the senator's name is fitting. And I'm just grateful at a time when maybe take a breath and take a pause. It doesn't seem possible that 2 years have passed, and I know for the family it's every single day, that absence. But the immediate work that the senators and the representatives you see here did, working to put Minnesota at the forefront of research into ALS, continuing that legacy, continuing to work, and now coming back again today to make sure that we won't forget. These things matter. Legacy matters here, and there is honorable work in being an elected official. There's honorable work in debating what we believe to improve the lives of our citizens, and I think honoring one of our own, honoring someone who served in this body for so long is entirely appropriate. So I'm just grateful here. This is with a great sense of gratitude to the family and the folks who are here that I'll sign this piece of legislation, and just humbled to be a piece of a legacy in this building that will live on for many, many decades, the work that David Tomassoni did. With that, I would turn to Lieutenant Governor Flanagan.
Thank you so much, Governor. I'm really reflective this morning as we think about the legacy of Senator Tomassoni. Of course, his identity as an Iron Ranger and how important that was to him, but also just to public service in the entire state of Minnesota. I think we oftentimes see what people are made of when they are faced with a challenge. And when he was diagnosed with ALS, he took that opportunity to fight for others who are also battling the disease. That is part of his legacy. It is part of his strength. And I think being up here with a lot of bipartisan legislators is also part of his legacy. Working across lines of difference, across regions to do good things for Minnesota. And I think the last thing that I would say is just to Senator Tomassoni's amazing family. Thank you for sharing him with us. We know, especially legislators from Greater Minnesota, it is a little bit more of a drive and commitment for folks, and we just know that his legacy will be felt for years to come. So thank you so much for this good work, and to the authors of this bill. Every time we drive down this strip of road, we'll remember a great man, a tough man, a man full of just pride for the range and for Minnesota. And with that, one of those people who has a lot of pride and grit for the range and for Minnesota is Representative Dave Lisgard.
Thank you. This is a fitting tribute to a wonderful man that meant so much to the Iron Range, because he put people before politics, and he put his family. Family meant everything to David, and he meant a lot to me. I think if you guys saw what I said on the House floor, I don't want to repeat it, but he wasn't a man that ruled with an iron fist. It was finesse and his ability to connect with people. Democrats, Republicans, it didn't matter. And in this political toxic world at times, I think that it's people like David that we need to reflect on and what he meant to an institution that is fragile at times. And so, I told a story when, and I got to repeat it because he'd be proud of me, is last year, or when I first got down here, I was driving him around, and we just got done passing the no texting, and I was texting and driving, and David says, "Yeah, put your phone down, no texting." I went, "Oh, okay." And then 2 weeks later, we're up on the range on this very cross-range expressway in his honor, and he's driving, and he's texting. And I looked at him, and I says, "Hey, Guido, 2 weeks ago, you just told me that I shouldn't be texting and driving?" And he looked at me, and he says, "I didn't vote for that bill." So that's David. He was just a great guy. He meant so much to me, to the Iron Range, and he's dearly missed, but he will never be forgotten. So thank you so much. To the family, they say you know a man by his children. And if you get to know his children, you will know how special of a man David was. So with that, Senator Rob Farnsworth.
Thanks, Representative.
Well, thank you to everybody for coming, and this is my great honor. People may not know, but this is actually my first standalone bill to pass, and for me it's humbling, and I want to thank the Tomassoni family for allowing me to do this, to allow me to carry this legislation, and it means a lot to me. As you know, filling the shoes of Senator Tomassoni is not easy. They are big footprints. And I have in my office, I've told this story before, but I have a wood, Roger, what is it? A wood, not a lathe, a wood planer that I actually got from Senator Tomassoni. And the story about how I got that is maybe for a different time. But I have it sitting on my shelf. And I have it there so that when I have a tough decision, or when there's some tough times, I can look at it and I think to myself, how would David handle this? Because he handled everything with grace and with dignity, and I think about how he handled his diagnosis with ALS, and it was nothing but dignity. And so I have that in my office to remind me. And now we're going to have signs across my district so that when I'm driving east to west, I'm going to be reminded of Senator Tomassoni, and I'll be reminded, whether I would have agreed with him politically or not, I'll be reminded of how he handled things. And so that's a great honor for me. And before I step off, I wouldn't be doing justice in filling the seat of the range senator if I didn't point out that there is still 8 miles left to pay for on the Cross Range Express. So we need to get the money for that so that we can finish this highway. And with that, Senator Tomassoni's son, Dante, will come up.
Nicely. Well done.
Well done, Senator. Well done. Well, first, I want to thank the Range delegation for honoring my father and our family. To Senator Farnsworth for honoring my father in this way by sponsoring this bill. To Senators Murphy, Eichhorn, Dietzick, Hoffman, Dibble, Hochschild, and Rest, thank you as his colleagues for being a part of this bill. We appreciate it. Thank you for your efforts and then to Senators Jasinski, Lang, Hoffman as well. The years of friendship and colleagues to my father, I truly appreciate it. Just to call out Senator Hoffman a little bit, although your last name isn't pronounced Hoffmani, I know Dad loved having another proud Italian in his office, and it was somebody to really appreciate the mortadella and the salami that was in his fridge. And so thank you for being his friend. To Madam Speaker, thank you for your support in the House. Representatives Igo, Scraba, Davis, Hornstein, thank you for your support as well. To my father's dearest friend and colleague who isn't with us today, well, he isn't here, and Gary Sergvenik, you were always there during his career and during his ALS struggles, and even now working and helping with this bill in his honor. I appreciate that. I want to talk a little bit today about family. This was one of my father's most, if not his most important value that he held. His granddaughters, Cecilia and Camille, are here today. Cecilia is this one. Camille is this one over there. His grandson, Crosby. His daughters-in-law, Anna, and my wife, Tiffany, are here with us as well, and my brother, Danny, of course. A funny little fact, my father as a child, his mother called him Husky, and that was because of the size jeans that she had to buy them. They literally had Husky-sized jeans back then. My daughter Camille, who is now 3 months old, is the third largest baby to be born at the New Essentia Hospital in Duluth. She was a whopping 10 pounds, 12 ounces, and yeah, she got Papa T's Husky. But as family being my father's most important value, it wasn't just his family that mattered. It was every family in his district. He wanted he wanted every family to have opportunity, an opportunity to work, to feed your kids, to grow, and to provide for the next generation. And he spent his entire career anchored in that tenet philosophy. Take care of families, get them opportunity to earn their way through life. He knew that economic opportunity needed infrastructure, and this highway was a vital pipeline to economic vitality in his district. To honor the final 4-lane completion, it was also a key to safety for families driving on its roads. Safe transportation for families and safe transportation for supportive economic infrastructure to provide jobs for those families on the Iron Range. That was important to Senator David J. Tomassoni, and that's why this is such a fitting honor and appreciated by our family. And I hope we will never forget that as his last act as a senator, he worked from hospice, using his eyes to work a computer, to pass historic legislation to cure ALS with the help of the people in this room, including the governor and lieutenant governor, to provide for other families from suffering what he suffered, knowing he would never benefit from the bill itself. He always put family first. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you to my family. Thank you to the sponsors and his colleagues. And thank you to my father for giving me this proud last name. It certainly is an honor. Thank you.
Sign it.
You guys want to help him?
Ready? It's now official.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Dave Lisselgard will now take questions.
Okay, sure.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, put that phone away, David.
Thanks to MnDOT. I know now you get a chance to go hang them, so we appreciate the work out there on that.
When can we expect to see it?
I'll get you.
Now that the bill is signed, we will get that scheduled as soon as possible, coordinate that with the family and others who are interested in knowing when those will go up.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Senators, thank you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Why not?